Paratmanamekam jagadbijamadyam niriham nirakaram onkara vidyam yato jayate palyate yena vishvam tamisham bhajeliyate yatra vishvam. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. Dear devotees, so we have been studying the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So we finished verse 15. In the first 10 verses, Sri Krishna is keeping us the picture of the ultimate reality. This is very important. If we have grasped the first 10 verses properly, we are grasping the whole of the central idea of the Upanishads. We are grasping the central idea of the Vedas itself. We are grasping the central idea of Hindu Dharma itself. This is what Hinduism has essentially to teach. The real nature of the supreme reality. The real nature of every man, every woman. The real nature of what we are referring to this as a world. That is what is so beautifully presented by Krishna in the first 10 verses. I need not go back into it. We spent sufficient time discussing those very enigmatic statements, appearing mutually contradictory, at the same time conveying the most beautiful picture of that supreme reality called Brahman or Atman. So, the conclusion in the first 10 verses is that Brahman alone is existing. Actually, there is nothing existing apart from Brahman. And it is Brahman through its own Maya. It is appearing in the form of this Jiva and Jagat. See, from the absolute truth, we are coming to this transactional plane. You and me, and what we are seeing here. This is a fact of our experience. You, me, and what we are experiencing here through the senses, it is a matter of experience for all of us. What is this? This is the one question which keeps on haunting the human mind. It is the most ancient, eternal one question which will trouble the human mind for all times to come. The secret of who I am. So, in the first 10 verses, the picture becomes so clear. It is Brahman through its own Maya, which is appearing in the form of Jiva and Jagat. Again, I repeat this point. Brahman through its own Maya. Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. This entire Sachara, Achara, Jagat, Jeev Jagat, everything is the creation of Brahman through its own Maya Shakti. And Brahman and Maya are not two different things. Maya is Brahman's own Shakti, own power. So this was the conclusion, the first 10 verses. Then Krishna said, you see, if everything is the manifestation of Brahman through its own Maya, that very Brahman comes through Maya in a very special manner. We are all the general manifestations. The so-called ordinary Jiva, we are all just ordinary manifestations. But the same Brahman, through its own Maya, comes in a very special manner, special manifestation. which is known as avatar. We had touched upon this point also. The difference between avatara and we, jiva, is actually speaking twofold. We are all born in ignorance, but avatara is born in blazing knowledge. We are all born out of our own karma. Avatara is not born out of its karma. Avatara is Brahman's special manifestation through its own Maya, by subjugating Maya. And it comes down, Brahman comes down in a human form to accomplish a certain mission. It has got a purpose, and that purpose is what? Dharma Samsthapana. To once again awaken spirituality in the common man. We who have forgotten the importance of spirituality, in order to once again instill faith in this higher reality, this avatara comes. That's the only meaning of it, nothing else. Secondly, the second difference is what? The first difference is the differences in knowledge and ignorance. We are all born ignorant. Avatara is born in full illumination and knowledge. Second difference is power. We are having hardly any power. I should not say absolutely no power, but hardly enough power. Our power is very, very minuscule, very small. Avatara is the Brahman's special manifestation with tremendous power. Tremendous power. It comes with tremendous power. An avatara is a person who can straightaway awaken the spiritual consciousness of other people. They come with such tremendous power. So these are the two differences which we find between the special manifestation of Brahman and the so-called we people. We are also manifestations of Brahman, but ordinary manifestations. Now, Krishna says that when this avatara comes, there is one problem. We common people, we fail to recognize this avatar. It is very difficult to recognize the avatar. Why? We do not understand who this person is. Avajananti ma mudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto. Param bhavam ajananto. Not knowing my param bhavam, my transcendental, supreme nature, nature as the Lord of everything, not knowing that dimension of mine, they insult me, disrespect me, deride me unknowingly. And the consequence of this is something which Sri Krishna speaks about there. Sri Krishna says these deluded people, mudhaha, and owing to their outright ignorance and absence of faith in a higher dimension of reality, they insult such spiritual manifestations. And what happens as a result? Moghasha, Mogha Karmano, Mogha Jnana Vichetasaha, Asurim, Rakshasim, Asurim Chaiva, Mohinim, Prakritim Shritaha. What happens? All their desires, their hopes, everything becomes vain. Vain are their hopes, vain are their desires. Their desires won't be. Desires means, desires means what? Purushartha, which is the Param Purushartha. Param Purushartha is moksha. They will never attain that Param Purushartha. Their worldly desires may become fulfilled, but that Param Purushartha, they will miss that mark. So, vain is their hope. Then what? All their actions become fruitless. All their knowledge is proved to be fruitless. And they lose sense, sensibility, discrimination, vichedasaha. And they become possessed of Rakshasi pravritti and Asuri pravritti. It's a beautiful term. Now, what does it mean that they become possessed of demonic nature? Rakshasi and Asurim pravritti means what? They become possessed of demonic nature. Now, when do we become possessed of demonic nature? Just imagine. We can just visualize, I have no faith in God, no faith in a higher reality. All that I believe is this body and my sense organs, and what is revealed to me through my sense organs. This is what I believe in. Now, all my energies are invested, or completely, my awareness is fully drowned in this body and the senses. This person is nothing but asura. You don't have to kill somebody, though there the meaning Rakshasi actually means those people who are given to killing others, shedding blood. That is the, what should I say, a very extended meaning of what asura is, asura pravritti is. But essentially it means that somebody who is completely drowned in body and the senses. The very term asu, asu means what? Prana. Prana. And prana, again, its meaning is what? Prana expresses itself in our system in the form of hunger and thirst. Ashana and pipasa. According to our Shastras, asuhu means prana, and prana refers to ashana and pipasa. Ashana and pipasa means hunger and thirst. Now, a person who is only busy satisfying his hunger and thirst, all kinds of hunger, not only the hunger of the stomach, but all kinds of hunger. We have different kinds of appetites. So, a person who is given to only satisfying his physical appetites, that person is asuhu. Asu means one who is completely drowned in asu, in prana, in satisfying his sensory appetites. That person is asura. So, a demon is a person who is completely busy just in satisfying his sensory appetites. He is an asura. So, Sri Krishna says here, when you don't have faith in a higher reality, and when you consider this body and the senses alone to be everything, that person is possessed by asura pravritti. And the consequences of that is obvious. That person will be totally tied down to this mortal plane of existence, which is marked by unending misery and suffering. There is no need for me to tell about that. This plane, this physical plane, its essential characteristic, the essential trait of this so-called our life in this physical plane, it is unending suffering and misery. Unending. It cannot be otherwise. No matter how much money we have, no matter how much pleasures you have through the body, its end result is all emptiness, unfulfillment, and misery in one form or the other, because this body is a vanishing entity. Nobody can attain fulfillment in and through this body and the senses. It is not possible. So, after that, Krishna talks about these two kinds of people. People who fail to recognize this avatar, or those who don't have faith in a higher reality, they become possessed by the so-called demonic nature. And opposed to this, there is another category of people. Those who have faith in a higher reality. Those who have faith in something behind and beyond this body-mind complex. So beautiful. This is the starting point of real evolution of the human being. Human being becomes eligible to evolve, or he is on the path of higher evolution only when he or she accepts the existence of a higher reality behind and beyond this body-mind complex. If we reject that, we are on the path to degeneration and destruction. There are two directions. When we reject the higher reality and when we drown ourselves completely in this body and the senses, that is the doorway to self-degeneration and destruction. And when we have faith in the higher reality, then opens up the doorway towards evolution to higher and higher planes. So Krishna then talks about this so-called noble man or a noble woman, Mahatma, Mahatmanastu mam partha, Daivim prakriti mashritaha. These people who have faith in a higher reality, they become possessed of divine qualities. Now, what do we mean by divine qualities? The divine qualities, they are just opposed to the demonic qualities. So, demonic qualities we have seen. Demonic qualities is what? Busy satisfying one's sensory appetites is what is demonic qualities or traits. Now, divine qualities is what? Divine qualities means Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhana, all these things. Control of the sense organs, control of the mind, and rising above all these physical appetites is what is divine qualities. That is what makes us divine. So these are the two pictures which is presented to us by Sri Krishna. One is a divine person who is given to self-restraint. Spiritual life and self-restraint, they are the two sides of the same coin. Without self-restraint, there is no spiritual life. Without renunciation, there is no spiritual life. Without sacrifice, there is no spiritual life. And the opposite of that is drowning oneself in all physical and sensory things. So these so-called noble people, Mahatmas, possessed by divine nature in the form of self-control, self-restraint, purity, overcoming the defects like kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, etc. They are constantly practiced to rise above all these defects, you see. Ordinarily, the human being is completely afflicted or possessed by these defects. All of us are possessed by these defects. Defects of kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. So what is the main purpose of human life? The main purpose of human life is to slowly and gradually overcome all these defects. Otherwise, what is the meaning of human life? Just eating, drinking, sleeping, and one day growing old and dying? That's not. The main purpose of human life is to conquer these so-called defects which are existing in our system owing to something. I won't say it is our inherent nature. No, it's not our inherent nature. These defects are not inherent. It is owing to something. Inherently, we are all divine and we are all pure. Nitya Shuddha, Nitya Buddha, Nitya Mukta Atma. That is our true nature. But not knowing that, this not knowing is the main factor, ignorance. It is owing to ignorance, these defects creep into our system and we are totally overcome by them. So the main purpose of human life is to overcome these defects by overcoming the very seed of these defects, which is ignorance, avidya. That is what is spiritual life. Spiritual life is not any mumbo-jumbo, seeing this person, seeing that person, this vision, that vision. Essentially, spiritual life means putting an end to this ignorance, avidya. Upanishads, the ultimate authority in spiritual life. Nowhere you will find any mention of this vision, that vision, nothing of that sort. It is essentially centered around only one thing, self-knowledge, and putting an end to this disease of ignorance. It is this ignorance which is making us miserable. When we know our true self, we are putting an end to our problems for once and for all times. This is what is happening. So these are the two pictures we saw beautifully. These two kinds of people, one possessed by the demonic nature, other possessed by the divine nature. Mahatmanastu ma partha, prakriti mashrita. Then Krishna had spoken about, now see, these so-called Mahatmas or noble people possessed by divine qualities, they worship God in so many ways. In one verse, Krishna is giving a beautiful summary of so many ways of approaching the divine. Wonderful. What a beautiful picture comes out of it. I was just wondering how Sri Krishna takes the essence of the Vedas and gives to us. He says, you see, Jnana Yajnena, what is that verse? Jnana Yajnena Chapyanye, Yajanto Mam Upasati, Ekatvena, Prataktvena, Bahudha Vishwato Mukha. So beautiful. In these, he said, three ways of approaching the divine. Jnana yagyena ekatvena. Shankaracharya says, here jnanam itself is yagya. Yagya means what? Usually sacrifice. Yagya in a very ritualistic context, it means sacrifice. You light up a fire and you offer something to the fire, and through that you offer it to some gods and goddesses. Here jnanam. And jnanam, what is? Ekatva jnanam. The knowledge of the non-dual reality, that Brahman alone is existing, itself is sacrifice, because everything is burnt in that self-knowledge. Yajna is what? You offer something into the mouth of the fire and fire eats up everything, is it not? This knowledge of the non-dual reality itself is like a flame. It is a yajna which eats up all this ignorance and everything up. So one way of worshipping and approaching the supreme reality is what? Jnana yajna. The yajna of the non-dual knowledge, knowledge of the non-dual reality. This is the highest jnana margis, Upanishads. Beautiful. So that is the one way of approaching the divine. Brahman alone is existing. This drishti, this Advaita bhava, it's a beautiful picture. I am talking about Advaita bhava, not Advaita jnanam. Advaita jnanam will come later. First, we need to cultivate Advaita bhava or Advaita drishti. That is what the whole of Bhagavad Gita is trying to teach us. Bhagavad Gita is known as Advaita Amrita Varshinim. Bhagavad Gita is known as Advaita Amrita Varshinim, one who showers the nectar of the non-dual vision. How true it is, so beautiful. We have seen it consistently in chapter 13, chapter 15, chapter 7, chapter 8. In every chapter, you will see a portion will be there which is exclusively meant to shower this nectar or amrita of non-dual vision. Every chapter we find this. 9 chapter, first 10 verses are completely given to this non-dual vision of Brahman alone is existing. So beautiful. So, one way is to cultivate this Advaita bhava or Advaita drishti. Ekatvena jnana yagyena. Jnana yagyena ekatvena. Ekatvam. Oneness. Second, pruthatvena. Pruthatvena means you separate yourself from the supreme reality and then worship it in a dualistic sense. Beautiful. Do it. That is what most of us we do. What do? We look upon God in this form, that form, separating God from us and then worship it. Pruthatvena. Beautiful. Then third way, Krishna is saying, Vishvato mukhena. In so many forms. Ekatvena, Pruthatvena, and Vishvato mukhena. In these three ways, actually Krishna is saying that supreme reality, Brahman, can be approached in so many ways. In non-dual manner, in dualistic manner, and in so many ways. Now you see, this is what our Vedas have taught us. Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti. That Supreme Brahman is one, but that Supreme Reality is addressed by so many names and it can be approached in so many ways. Vedas, Sri Krishna, Shankaracharya, Ramakrishna telling. So many ways to approach the same reality. It's a very beautiful point it is. Ekatvena, Pruthatvena, Vishvato mukhena. In these three statements, Sri Krishna is telling us that supreme reality can be approached in so many ways. Now you take this avatara itself. See, now somebody will say that I am a follower of Shiva, Shaivites. Somebody else will say I am a follower of Vishnu, Vaishnavites. Somebody will say I am a follower of Krishna. Somebody will say I am a follower of Rama. We will say that we are followers of Ramakrishna. Let me tell you, we are all followers of Brahman and Brahman alone. Nobody is following anything else apart from Brahman. These forms are all just like small windows and doors in and through we reach Brahman. When you worship Shiva, Shiva is just like a small window or the doorway to reach the domain of Brahman. Krishna is one small doorway or a beautiful form, in and through you reach Brahman. So, with all other forms, Ramakrishna, it's a doorway to reach Brahman. We are all actually followers of Brahman and Brahman alone. There is nothing else to follow. Nothing else exists apart from Brahman. This point should be very, very clear to all the devotees. So, at a very transactional plane, as in a certain sense, we may say that we are followers of Ramakrishna, or followers of Shiva, or followers of Rama. Essentially, everybody is following and worshipping Brahman and Brahman alone. When we do it knowingly, it is better. Unknowingly, if you are worshipping in a certain form, you are actually worshipping Brahman, because nothing else is existing apart from Brahman. This is the plain, naked truth. So we have to worship. We have to do all of our upasana and so-called rituals and so-called dualistic practices with this vision that whatever we are worshipping, it is all Brahman and Brahman alone. There is only one Sarvatma existing everywhere. Now that is the subject matter of the next verse. Brahman's Sarvatmakatvam. Brahman's Sarvatmakatvam. It is one Brahman in so many forms. Your everything is pervaded by one Brahman. It is Brahman behind this form. It is Brahman behind this form. It is Brahman behind all forms. It is Brahman behind that entity whom you are worshipping in a dualistic sense. Behind everything, it is one Brahman. One Brahman alone is actually existing. So just visualize in this world, whoever is worshipping whatever form, unknowingly they are all actually worshipping Brahman and Brahman alone, unknowingly. If they do it knowingly, the whole thing changes tremendously. So it is a question of knowingly doing it and unknowingly whatever we may be doing. So wherever anyone is praying, anyone is bowing down to something, no, they may be having all kinds of imaginary ideas about God. We are all actually approaching Brahman and Brahman alone, unknowingly. This is the biggest truth. The same thing if we do knowingly, then our whole vision changes. Now again, Sri Krishna is presenting to us this beautiful idea that you are all actually worshipping one reality, Brahman and Brahman alone. Why? It is Brahman alone which is existing as a self of all. In everything, it is the Brahman. That is what is the topic of the next few verses. Beautiful verses. Krishna is saying here, verses 16, 17, 18, 19. All these four verses have this same theme. Brahman's Sarvatmakatvam. It is Brahman which is the self of everything here. This entire world taken in its totality has got Brahman as itself. And if you take one individual, it is the Brahman which is the self. Everything, it is Brahman which is behind. That entity whom you are worshipping in the temple, that also has got Brahman as a self. There is nothing which is not having Brahman as the self. It is Brahman. We are actually worshipping Brahman in and through all these different forms. This is the Advaitic vision. Beautiful. You see, Krishna says here, says, Aham kraturaham yagyah Swadhaham aushadham Mantrohamahame vajyam Aham agniraham hutam Pitahamasya jagato Mata dhata pitamaha Vedyam pavitram onkara Riksamaya vacha Gatir bharta prabhu sakshi Nivasa sharanam suhrit Prabhava pralayasthanam Nidhanam bijam avyayam Tapamyahamaham varsham Nigranhamyutsrajami cha Amritam chaiva mrityuscha Sadasachaham arjuna. All these four verses have got this beautiful theme of one reality appearing in so many forms. Beautiful. So the first verse is an echo of a verse which had already come in the fourth chapter. In the fourth chapter we have not studied. Slowly we'll do it someday. In the fourth chapter, a beautiful verse comes. It's all Advaita. But Sri Krishna, every day we chant this verse. And we chant it while eating food. And I don't know how many of us really mean it when we chant it. Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavi, Brahmagnau, Brahmanahutam, Brahmaiva tena gantavyam, Brahma karma samadhina. Every day we chant it, is it not? But we do it when we eat food. And do we really mean it? That is the thing. So beautiful, it is the highest Advaitic vision. What Sri Krishna is saying, what is being offered into fire is Brahman. The fire is Brahman. The offerer is Brahman. Everything is Brahman. The person who is offering something into the fire is Brahman. What is being offered is Brahman. Fire itself is Brahman. The entire act is Brahman. There is nothing existing apart from Brahman. So when we chant that, when we take food, what actually means is that this eater is Brahman. What is eaten is Brahman. The very act of eating is Brahman. Here nothing is existing apart from Brahman. This is what is Jnana Yajna. Ekatvena Jnana Yajnena. Yajanto. Ekatvena Jnana Yajnena Yajanto. This is the meaning of doing yajana. Yajana means what? Worshipping the highest reality through the Advaitic vision. When we do everything with this Advaitic vision, that the speaker is Brahman, the person who is listening to the speech is Brahman, the very act of talking is Brahman. When we do with this vision, this is the highest form of worship. Krishna is saying, so beautiful. So see, the very idea of worship assumes different forms. Worship is not only the worship which usually we are used to in a very ritualistic and dualistic sense, in which we have one image in front of me and you do certain things. That is very, very fine and valid. But the highest form of worship is this Jnana Yajnena Ekatvena. This Advaita Drishti, in which we see that everything is soaked and saturated with that one reality. There is nothing existing apart from that reality. So beautiful. A person who cultivates this bhavam, he is constantly worshipping. Not only worshipping morning and evening at certain times, he is continuously and constantly he is worshipping. This very idea is echoed in this verse of the 9th chapter. That came in the 4th chapter. This is here in the 9th chapter. Beautiful idea. Krishna is saying here, you see, Krishna and Ramakrishna is very interesting. Sri Ramakrishna never liked to use the word aham, me. And Krishna would always speak about I. Actually, both of them are saying the same thing. Sri Ramakrishna never liked the usage of this pronoun called aham or I. Actually, it refers to Brahman. And Sri Krishna always says I. I means what? Not that. I means Brahman, nothing else. So Krishna says, aham kratuhu. I am kratu. Kratu means what? The Vedic sacrifice. Sacrifice, as I said, different. This is the Vedic way of worship, ritualistic way of worship, where a fire is lit and certain things are offered into it, and actually the offering is meant to some divinity in certain forms. So, Sri Krishna is saying that Vedic sacrifice, I am that. Aham kratuhu. Aham yajnaha. I am yajnaha. Now, here sacrifice is of two kinds. One is Shrauta, other is Martha. Don't worry about the technicalities. Two kinds of sacrifices. One based upon Shruti and the other is based upon Smriti. That's all. Shruti and Smriti. Shruti means the Vedas. Smriti, everything outside of the Shruti is Smriti. Like Bhagavad Gita is a Smriti. All this Bhagavad Gita is not a Shruti, it is a Smriti Shastra. No book can be compared with the Vedas. Always know this. We can compare it in a figurative sense, but technically, actually, nothing can be compared with Vedas. Vedas, they belong to a different order of reality altogether. They are apaursheya. They are not creations of some human agency. They have not come into existence through some human framework. And everything which is coming out through a human agency will come within the category of Smriti. Bhagavad Gita is the teachings of Sri Krishna. It has to be Smriti, though it will reflect all the ideas of the Vedas. So anyway, that is a different thing. So here, two kinds of yajna has been spoken about. One is based upon Shruti, and the other is based upon Smriti. So Krishna is saying, I am that Kratuhu, means Shruti based yajna, and I am yajna, the Smriti based yajna, two yajnas. Swadhaham, and I am Swadha. Swadha means the food which is offered at the time of yajna, the food which is offered to our forefathers and the different divinities. At the time of doing rituals, we offer food and offer it to different deities, gods and goddesses, or forefathers, mains. So that food is also, I am that food, I am the yajna. And aham aushadham, I am the aushadham. Aushadham means the food which all the creatures eat. So we all eat food, is it not? This food is actually an aushadham. It is a medicine for the disease of hunger. Shankaracharya elsewhere beautifully says, Bhiksha aushadham. Bhiksha aushadham. This bhiksha, when we eat bhakshanam means eating. Why are we eating this? This eating, that food is a medicine to cure the disease of hunger. So food is actually an aushadham. So anyway, Sri Krishna is saying, I am that food. See, everything, I am means Brahman. Brahman here is in the form of Shrauta yajna. Brahman is the Smarta yajna. Brahman is the food which is offered to the different divinities. Brahman is the food eaten by all of us. Mantroham, this mantra which we use when we do yajna, when we do puja, when we offer, when we worship different divinities, so many mantras. Krishna is saying, it is Brahman which is in the form of those mantras. Mantroham. Ahame vajyam. And I am. Brahman is that. Ajyam means that offering which is poured into the fire. Ghee or whatever things which we offer into the fire. Krishna is saying, it is Brahman which is that offering which we offer into the fire. Ahame vajyam. Aham agnihi. And that fire is also Brahman. Aham hotam. And the very act of offering, that is also me. It is exactly the echo of Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavi. The same thing is echoed here. Aham kratu, aham yajna, aham swadhaham, aham aushadham, mantroham, ahame vajyam, aham agni, aham matam. What Krishna wants to say that aham sarvam. Here few items have been taken. Krishna wants to say Brahme Vedam Sarvam. Krishna wants to say that Brahme Vedam Sarvam. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sadurlabha. Yachakinchit Jagat Sarvam. Yachakinchit Jagat Sarvam Trishyate Shruyate Piva Antar Bahishchatat Sarvam Vyapya Narayana Stitaha. There is only one Narayana, there is only one reality. Inside, outside, there is nothing existing. Just see, now we are in search of God. That is the most mysterious and ironical thing. We are in search of that in which we are completely soaked. How do we explain it? This is something we have to feel it. This is something we should feel it. We have to take our spiritual practice and drishti to a higher level. Let me repeat this point. We are in search of that in which we are completely soaked. How do you explain it? That thing in which you are completely soaked and yet you don't know it and you are in search of it. Again, I repeat this point. This very moment in this very classroom, we are completely soaked in that reality and yet we are in search of it. It's the biggest mystery in this creation. We are in search of God in which we are completely soaked and saturated with it. Advaita Drishti. So bhakti, puja, upasana is not something isolated and exclusive, meant for certain time and certain place called temples. That is good in the beginning. When the real upasana, this is the real upasana, when we understand that we are all soaked in that reality called God or Ishvara or Brahman, this very moment, not later, here or there. This is the vision which is coming out of this verse. Beautiful. Krishna is saying, see, understand this point. I am existing in everything, in every form, in every way, everywhere, all the time. There is nothing which is not devoid, there's nothing which is devoid of me. That is the point. Then what? Pitahamasya jagato. Now all our meanings of father and mother have to be changed. We have two ideas of our parentage, our siblings, spouses. Everything will change now. Whom you are referring to as your father and who is your real father. Krishna is saying, I, the Brahman, am your true father. Pitahamasya jagato. Of this entire world, I, the Brahman, am the father. Mata, of this entire world, I, the Brahman, am the mother. Not only of the world, of you and me, our real father and mother is that Brahman or Ishvara, nothing else. Now here Mata and Pita alone has been taken. Now you can bring all relationships, children, your siblings, brothers, sisters, spouses, husbands and wives. We have only one relative, that is Ishvara and Ishvara alone. So beautiful, everything, vision changes. Pitahamasya jagato, Mata, then Dhata. Dhata means what? Karma phala data. I, Ishvara, am the dispenser of the fruits of your actions. Whatever actions we do here, it has got its fruits. And it is Ishvara who dispenses this fruit. It's a wonderful, I don't want to go into the technicalities of it. In the karma phala siddhanta, Ishvara is the karma phala data. So Ishvara, I, the Brahman, Ishvara, am dhata, means karma phala data. Then Pitamaha, I am Pitamaha, grandfather. A grandfather, grandmother, grandchildren, very important. We have tremendous attachment. More than children, our attachment is for grandchildren. It's very strong, doesn't go so easily. Everything has to be divinized, that is the point. See, everything, all relationships have to be divinized and not just remain tied down to this worldly spectacle of me and mine, my husband, my wife, my children. As long as we are tied down in this framework, there is no end to misery. There is no escape. We are simply, it's a grinding machine in which we are ground and pasted and pasted and pasted. The secret is to divinize everything. Our true relationship, our father, mother, grandfather, everything is Ishvara and Ishvara alone. Vedyam. Vedyam means what? The thing to be known. I am that thing to be known. Krishna is saying, I means Brahman. Brahman is the only thing to be known in this world. Vedyam, knowable. Acha. And this Brahman is what? Pavitram, sanctifier. The moment this idea of Brahman comes in our awareness, see, everything becomes holy. Everything becomes, in one moment, all those so-called defiling or so-called impure things is burned to ashes. How true it is. Shuddhikaranam. This Brahmagni, this Jnanagni is that fire in which everything which is defiling or impure is burnt to ashes. Brahman is that, the most purifying. The moment this Ishvara's awareness comes in our heart, on the surface of our mental plane, the moment this Ishvara awareness comes, you see, everything becomes pure. All that is unholy and impure simply vanishes. It has to vanish. There is no other way. we should have tremendous faith in the purifying power of Ishvara. I always say, we are all born pure, eternally pure. Shankaracharya doesn't tire repeating this point. Know, my children, that you are all Nitya Shuddha. The first word is Nitya Shuddha, Shuddhatvam. We are all eternally pure. Our purity is never compromised. All impurity is owing to some factor. If that factor is addressed, we will be realizing our natural purity, which is our true nature. So sanctifier, pavitram, Brahman is that purifying thing which purifies everything. How true it is. Vedyam pavitram. Acha. This Vedyam, Brahman, which is knowable, how to know it? What is the way to know it? The supreme way to know this Brahman is Om, Omkar. Nothing greater than Omkar. The highest alambanam is Omkar. Upanishads. All other alambanam are inferior to the supreme alambanam called Omkara, Pranavam. We should understand. What is this Omkara? And from where do we gain the knowledge of Omkara? Through the Vedas. Riksama Yajurevacha. Krishna says. See, Brahman is knowable, the thing to be known. Om is the way to know Brahman, and the knowledge of the Om comes through Riksama Yaju Evacha, through the Vedas, through the Upanishads. Through the Upanishads, we gain the knowledge of what Om is, and through Om, we come to know what Brahman is, what that higher reality is. Vedyam Pavitram Omkara Riksama Yajurevacha. Then what? Beautiful verses. Krishna says, Katir Bharta Prabhu Sakshi Nivasa Sharanam Surat Prabhava Pralayasthanam Nidhanam Bijam Abhyayam. So beautiful. These verses are very favorite of all the devotees actually. Every devotee would fall in love with this verse. Gati. Gati means what? Destiny. Who is our ultimate destiny? It is Brahman, Ishvara. Here Gati literally means, Shankaracharya says, Karma Phalam. Here literally, Shankaracharya says Karma Phalam. Why? See, we are all the makers of our destiny, is it not? How do we make our destiny? Whatever actions we do, we reap the fruit of those actions. So that is our destiny, is it not? I did something, and through my actions, I am deciding my destiny. The fruits which I would be getting out of my actions, that is my destiny. Sri Krishna says, I am that, Gatihi, Karma Phalam. I am in the form of that so-called the fruit of your own actions. In everything, Brahman is there. In everything, Ishvara is there. So actually speaking, there is no situation in life which is hopeless. It is something so positive. There is no situation, there is no time in human life which is actually speaking hopeless. It cannot be. Because in every situation, in the worst situation, in the worst of situations, now you can just imagine the worst situation, that is saturated with the presence of Ishvara. What a promising thing it is. You may be lying sick, ailing in the bed, suffering from all kinds of physical ailments. Even in that situation, you are fully soaked with the presence of Ishvara. What a promising idea it is. Gatihi. Wonderful. The worst situation you can imagine. Perhaps old age, the body is broken, dilapidated, you are having pain. Even in the worst situation, your whole framework is soaked in Ishvara. There is not one grain of distance between you and Ishvara. This should be the Shraddha and conviction of every Bhakta. This is Advaita Bhakti. Not distancing yourself from God. Advaita Bhakti is that in which there is no distance. We know we are completely soaked in the presence of Ishvara. Gatihi. So beautiful. Bharta. Bharta means again, Bharta means nourisher. He is the one who is the nourisher. Again, here Bharta means Karma Phala Data. Gati means Karma Phalam and Bharta means Karma Phala Data. One who dispenses the fruits of our action. So Ishvara is the Gati, Karma Phalam. And Ishvara is also Bharta, means Karma Phala Data. Means he is nourisher. When we do something, we get the result of that. We are getting nourished. Actually, who is nourishing? It is Ishvara who is nourishing us. Whenever we have been nourished throughout our life, since the day we were born, we are breathing. You see, we are breathing, we are alive. The nourisher is Ishvara and Ishvara. Without Ishvara, there is no nourishment. The root of all nourishment is Ishvara. We may say, modern science will say, oh, I'm eating food, I'm getting nourished. What is that food? It is Ishvara. The power in the food to nourish our body is Ishvara. Everything is Ishvara. We are getting our nourishment from Ishvara and Ishvara alone. There is no other nourisher. Gatir Bharta, Prabhu. He is the master. Ishvara is the master. He is our only master in life. Prabhu. Sakshi, beautiful term. Beautiful. This is one term which tells everything. Sakshi. This Ishvara or Brahman is Jiva Sakshi, Jagat Sakshi. Sarva Sakshi. Sakshi means what? Witness. So beautiful. Sakshi means what? Witness. Witnessing what? We had referred to that screen and movie illustration in our earlier classes. The screen is the witness of the movie, is it not? The movie comes and goes. And here the movie is what? Waking, dream, and sleep is the movie which is going on every day. Remember, we are the Sakshi of this movie of waking, dream, and sleep. We are Jagat Sakshi, we are Jiva Sakshi, all of us are Sarva Sakshi, we are all Sakshis. Sakshi means that Brahman or the Atman. Avasthatraya Sakshi, Avasthatraya Vatirikta. Different, distinct from the three states and the witness of the three states. We are not that one character inside the three states, we are the witness of the three states. It's a beautiful term, Sakshi. If anybody succeeds in catching this point, we are actually getting what we are actually wanting to get in life. Sakshi, so beautiful. Then Nivasa, again, this is all referring to Brahman. Krishna is saying, I am that Nivasa. Nivasa means what? Adhishthanam, Shankaracharya says. Adhishthanam means the very foundation of everything. What is the foundation of all this drama which is going on? It is Brahman. What is the foundation of the movie? It is a screen, is it not? Screen is the very foundation on which the movie is going on. I am that. There is no movie possible without the screen, which is the foundation, which is the Nivasa, abode. Nivasa also means abode. In English, you can say abode. Now, see, there's a beautiful term, abode. What a wonderful term it is. Abode is the place where we are residing, is it not? Abode is the place where we are residing. Where do we reside? Somebody will say, I'm residing in Salt Lake, I'm residing in Gaudia. Somebody will say, I'm residing in Mumbai, I'm residing in Bangalore, in Kolkata. Here, everybody is residing in only one place. We have got only one permanent address. We are all permanently residing in Ishvara and Ishvara alone. No one has got any other address apart from Ishvara. We don't have to change our Aadhaar card, okay? We can have a particular address there. But our permanent address is what? Ishvara. Eternally we are our abode. What a beautiful term it is, abode. Where are we living? Just tell me, where are we living? Where is this entire world living? It is in Ishvara. We are soaked in that. That is the point. Abode. Brahman, Ishvara, abode. Sharanam, Sharanam. Krishna says, and that Ishvara or Brahman is the place of refuge. Refuge where Shankaracharya says, where we who are afflicted by unending misery, we go and get some relief from misery. When we go and take refuge at the feet of Ishvara, that is the place where all our miseries can be removed. There is no other place where our misery can be removed. You can go and hold somebody's hands. The husband can hold the wife's hand. The wife can hold the husband's hand. It is not going to solve the misery of life. We have to go and take refuge in Ishvara and Ishvara alone. There alone all our miseries come to an end. There is no other way. There is no other way. That is the meaning of Sharanam, Sharanagati, where all our, Shankaracharya says, where all our afflictions and the miseries can come to an end. Suhrit, beautiful term. Suhrit means what? Friend. Who is our friend? Our only friend is Ishvara and Ishvara alone. We have no other friend. Shankaracharya again says, Surat means what? Surat, friend is a person who helps you without expecting anything in return. Friend is a person who helps you without expecting anything in return. Ishvara alone is that entity who will be always there to help, to lend a helping hand, and Ishvara doesn't want anything from you. Everybody else will want something, at least a thank you they will expect. Ishvara doesn't even want your thank you. Shankaracharya says so beautifully, friend is a person who does something to you without expecting anything in return. Pratyupakara, na. Without expecting anything in return. So Ishvara is the only one entity to whom if you approach, he will be the solution to your problems without wanting anything, nothing else. So beautiful. Surat. Prabhava pralayasthanam. Prabhava pralayasthanam. And he is the place from where everything emerges. Prabhava means emergence. This entire world emerges from Ishvara and it dissolves in Ishvara. Prabhava means emergence. Pralayam means dissolution. The emergence of everything and the place of dissolution of everything is Ishvara or Brahman. And sthanam. Sthanam means foundation. The very foundation of everything is Ishvara. Nidhanam. Nidhanam means the storehouse. Ishvara is that inexhaustible storehouse. Nidhanam. Beautiful. So beautiful. All these terms are highly philosophical. Ishvara is what? Another term of Ishvara is inexhaustible abundance. A beautiful term. Inexhaustible abundance. In a worldly sense, whatever is today, you may be having abundant wealth, but it is not inexhaustible. It will get depleted. Ishvara's abundance is inexhaustible. It never gets depleted. It is a storehouse of everything. You see, the jiva is drawing everything from Ishvara. Is Ishvara's storehouse getting empty? We are all drawing everything from Ishvara. We are drawing our life, we are drawing our breath, life breath, everything is drawn from Ishvara. Do you think we are breathing? This breath, everything is coming from Ishvara. We are all drawing nourishment and everything from Ishvara. Is Ishvara's abundance getting exhausted or depleted? Inexhaustible abundance is Ishvara. And he is our Nidhanam, that storehouse, inexhaustible. Bijam avyayam. And he is that bijam, the seed of everything here, Brahman. And it is immutable, avyayam. One more verse I'll take and then we can. Then Krishna says, Tapami. I am in the form of sun, and in the form of sun I give out heat. Tapami. Tapa means heat. It is I who give out heat in and through the sun. The sun's heat. It is me, Ishvara. Tapami aham. Varsham nigranhami usrjamicha. And in and through the sun's heat, I bring forth rain and I also withhold rain. Bringing forth rain in the monsoon season and withholding rain during other seasons. It is all because of me and my heat coming in and through the sun. Beautiful. So beautiful. Tapami aham varsham nigranhami utsrajamicha. Varsham means rain. Varsham nigranhami. I withhold varsham, rains, and utsrajami. I give forth rain in and through the heat of the sun. Amritam chaiva mrityuscha. And I am in the form of immortality of the gods and mortality of human beings. Now, immortality of the gods, it has to be understood properly. In comparison to human beings, the gods are said to be immortal. But that immortality is not absolute immortality. Compared to us, they live for a long period of life. That's why they are said to be immortal. But they are not immortals. They are all mortals only. Here, no one is immortal. In a physical sense, no one is immortal. Physical sense, even gods, they die, we also die. But compared to us, their life duration and span is very, very long, so they appear to be immortals. So that relative immortality of God, I am that. And the mortality which we see in the human beings, that That is all. So I am both mortality as well as immortality. Sad asatcha aham arjuna. And here Sat Asat means cause and effect. I am in the form of effect and I am in the form of cause. In short, I am in all these forms. Krishna is saying. So beautiful. So let me just wind up what we have studied today. So Krishna in today's these 4 verses, he is saying, actually he is presenting to us the idea of sarmatmakatvam. It is one reality which is here in everything. To sum up, this is again in so many ways Krishna is painting this picture of non-duality. Is it not? Here whatever we are seeing, whatever we are doing, always we should remember as seekers of truth, as seekers of that supreme knowledge of the supreme reality, as a bhakta, as a jnani, whatever it. See, these categorizations, we should not be confused with these categorizations. No, there is one reality. There is only one reality which is hidden from our awareness today, owing to a mysterious thing called ajnana. Without having the knowledge of that, there is no escape. So Krishna is presenting to us this supreme picture that here, actually speaking, that one reality alone is existing and expressing itself in so many forms. And there is no situation in which we are actually disconnected with Ishvara. Krishna is saying, you see, even this very moment, we are all soaked in that reality. Everything is saturated with this reality. Can we feel it? Can we really feel it that everything is saturated with Ishvara? Now, are we waiting for God to come? Or is God going to come at a certain point of time? That may be good in initial stages of spiritual life, but as we evolve in our spiritual practices, this vision will become very clear. We are fully soaked and saturated with that reality. It cannot be otherwise, actually speaking. It cannot be otherwise. This is the great drishti which Sri Krishna is giving to us in these verses. This is what is going to be the very foundation of bhakti sadhana now. Now the coming verses are full of bhakti, beautiful, simple practices of devotion. But before that, understand here everything is soaked in Ishvara. Now the next point will be to worship this Ishvara. Now whatever we are doing, it's all actually speaking worship of Ishvara only. This is what Sri Ramakrishna beautifully said. Shiva Jnane Jiva Seva. Everything is Shiva here. We are all soaked in Shiva. It cannot be otherwise. Any other thought which we have, any other vision which we have, it is only buddhi dosha, as Shankaracharya says. It is only a defect of our understanding. So we need to cultivate this right understanding that, actually speaking, there is nothing existing apart from Ishvara. And next comes beautiful verse. Again, 2 things Krishna will be talking about. The fate of those who are full of desires, their fate will be of one kind. And then comes that famous verse. The fate of those who have their minds fully soaked in me in a non-dual manner. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam. Famous verse which is coming, waiting to come in the next class. Krishna is saying the 2 things he is comparing now. Those who are full of worldly desires, their fate is going to be of one kind. And the second is these people, those who have no worldly desires, they are totally united with me, they worship me in a non-dual manner. Ananyas chintanam means there is no anya bhava. Ishvara is not anya. Ishvara is not a second entity separated from me. That is the word. So beautiful. Ananyas chintanam. That kind of a thinking in which you don't feel that Ishvara is separated from you. That is the whole stress of all these verses. So beautiful. We should begin to feel that in all situations we are fully saturated and soaked in Ishvara. That is how we have to lead our life. So beautiful. Not waiting for God to come. Temple, it's all fine. Temple, they're all helping factors. But then real vision, the real spiritual life starts when we begin to cultivate this great vision that we are all nothing but completely saturated and soaked in that one supreme reality. Let's stop. Om Shanta Shanta Shanti Harihi Om Tat Sat.